everyone, thank you for tuning in. My name is Jenny Davis and I'm the CMF Design Manager at Google Hardware. And I have two of my colleagues, Arthur and Stefan. And we're here to talk a little bit about what it's like to work at Google Industrial Design Team. So first we'll start off with a brief introduction and I can start that off. I've been here for about 8 months. So I'm pretty new, and for those of you who are not familiar with the term CMF, it stands for Color Material Fetishes, and it's a discipline within industrial design. So our team is responsible for designing colors, materials, and finishes, which means the way they feel for all the products that we develop at Google Hardware. So in a nutshell, with the ID team, we help to define what it's like to hold Google in your hand.
Cool. Hi everyone, I'm Arthur Kenzo. I am an industrial designer in the Google design team, and I focus specifically on mobile and create products. So mobile devices, smartphones, the Pixel range. I'm initially from France, and I moved in 2010 to China to graduate and to start my career. In 2012, I moved to San Francisco to work for different design companies, and I've been at Google for the last 3 years.
Great.
Hi, I'm Stefan Reichert. I'm an industrial designer at Google for now about 2 years, and I've been in the industry probably around 9 years, and that's about the time I'm in the US because I'm from Germany originally, and I'm working at Google in the Nest team, working on home products.
Great. So we'll just jump right into the questions.
Sounds good.
The first question is, what is your day-to-day like working on Google's industrial design team? Stefan, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, sure. So industrial design at Google gives me the flexibility to really design my time and collaborate with the engineering teams, the design teams. And it's really easy because everybody is in walking distance in Mountain View, so it's
biking distance.
Or biking,
right.
yes.
Yeah. For my team, I feel like it consists, as you said, the word collaboration. It consists of different levels of collaboration. So whether it's working closely with the ID team on defining design story for products, to working with the marketing team on giving them inspiration behind the colors so that they can name the names for the colors, to working with more technically with the engineers. So every day looks very different, but I think one thing that's consistent is that our days are never boring.
Yeah, I second that. Every day is different, depending of the project status. Sometimes you're gonna sketch more, you're gonna brainstorm, you're gonna collaborate with different design disciplines, UX, packaging, CMF, and at some point in the project, you're gonna collaborate more with engineers and production teams to make our product happen. So really every day feels different, and to me what excites me the most going to the office every day is to join that amazing talented team of multicultural designers with different backgrounds, different skills. That's really amazing, I think.
Great. So next question, it's getting harder and harder. What are some of the most interesting challenges you've had a chance to work on as part of the Google's hardware team?
I can take that. So to me, the most interesting challenge is to work on a huge scale of products. So not the scale of in terms of size, but really the amount of the volume of the objects. So we design for millions of users, and that's something I haven't done before. For example, when we designed the Pixel 4, we had to design for every size of hand, every hand grips, so small, big hands. So we had to design a profile that is soft and approachable, but also in terms of design language, we defined a design that has that square, very iconic square visor in the back, and that integrates all the sensors, all the technology, the cameras, but also that is very recognizable to anyone.
That goes into a tiny little stay, right?
Yeah. And in terms of colors too, we proposed a range of color that can appeal to anyone, from the more mainstream black to the more high contrasted, clearly white, to the more exciting, energetic, also orange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also
Also orange.
How about you, Stefan?
Yeah, for me, I would say just working on the challenge of sustainability. So cross-functionally, we've been really proud to release last fall the new Home Mini. So what's really cool about this is the fabric of the Home Mini is made 100% out of recycled plastic bottles, PET bottles like this one. So what we do is we take these bottles, recycled bottles, and we clean them, and then they get grinded up, and we extrude actually real fabric out of it, like this one. And that's really cool because now we can have a fabric that has the same properties, like the same acoustic transparency and properties, and replaces our fabric on our product. And I think one plastic bottle gives us the fabric for 2.7 Home Minis, which is amazing to me.
Yeah. And if we're talking numbers here, I think during the total life cycle of Mini, I think that saves about 12.9 million plastic bottles, which is, I think, pretty incredible. And I think that's something that we're just continuing to push for. So that's really exciting. Some of the most interesting challenges I've had in the last 8 months, first is the amount of acronyms that we had to learn or that we use in at hardware. I think I got a document that had over 200 different acronyms that we use in hardware, which I still don't know all of them, but that was my first challenge. Then mostly my team's challenges really, just how fast our portfolio is growing in the last year, and really making sure then not just focus on like executing, but focusing on making sure that we have enough creative time added into that process. And secondly, as you can see here, we have sort of a slice of that portfolio here representing sort of the warmer family group of different products. So making sure that when products are put together, they look really great together like a family, but not necessarily, they don't need to be matchy, but they need to go well together. So that's a really fun, interesting challenge that we're dealing with. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. What surprised you during your work on the ID team at Google? This is a fun one.
Historically, Google is a software company, so when we see Google now very invested into the hardware space, this only started a few years ago, and that's amazing. I think it's very surprising to see how Google was able to build a whole hardware department, to build a full world-class design team. We are almost 50 designers between industrial design, CMF design, and packaging design. I think that's pretty amazing to see.
We've grown pretty fast too.
Yeah, and for me, I would say we have a workspace that's really amazing, that really invites creativity and inspiration. There's a lot of light in our workspace, which is really important to me personally. I think a lot of designers like that. And on top of that, right now we're building an amazing workshop downstairs. So we have a lot of space and opportunities to create quick form studies or just play with materials and processes, which is super cool, I think.
Yeah, being able to go from like digital to actual material, I think is super important, but because we have that capacity downstairs, and I know they just recently added also painting as well, so that we were able to just come up with some custom colors and apply it to form so that we can see how the colors and form interact together. So I think that's pretty impressive. And as you mentioned about the space, like
it's amazing.
That you don't actually get to see the space during the interview, right? So on my first day of work coming in, I was like jaw drop, moment of just appreciating the natural light and just the beautiful and very thoughtful way the design the studio was put together. So it's a really great, I think, inspirational place to work.
Yep.
Yeah. Moving on to the next question about how are design decisions made at Google?
So designers regroup twice a week and review project status. We review designs, we debate, we share opinions, we find new ideas, sometimes we kill ideas, and that's how we make decisions. And I think it's a great way for the whole team to feel involved in every project going on. And we work on a lot of things, so I don't feel like I'm isolated into one project. I really feel like I'm involved into everybody's project, and I think that's also a way for us to design in a more cohesive and consistent way.
Yeah. Exactly, and I would second that and say also because we are typically in different teams, so you're in the mobile team and Jenny's in the CMF team, but we still work together as one design team, so we have opportunity to give feedback to each other and have these moments come together for inspiration and ideation.
Yeah, I think I always find those conversations really interesting too, to just get different feedbacks on on the same subject. And another thing that I think is really interesting on our design process is our access to leadership. So having our VP and SVP of hardware in the same building, so they're physically accessible, but then they're I know we have regular chats with them to get their feedback, so I think that's really special too.
Yep.
I agree.
Okay. Are you guys ready for a hard question?
Bring it on.
How does your team react when things go wrong?
I can take that one. Yeah, so I think that's always part of the industrial design process. So you always need to be prepared, and if you don't push the limits, I don't think you do your job to 100%. So being prepared and working with close partners and other teams and collaborate on these problems to create like a creative solution, I think that's really important.
Yeah, and I guess it's part of the creative process to make things, to make things wrong, to fail, and very often things go wrong. What's great is we never feel alone. We really feel like we are a team working on those problems and resolving problems. One quote from our manager Alberto is, he always says that we are like a soccer team where when we win together, when we lose together.
That's a great quote.
Yeah,
I think I echo that. We definitely, when something does go wrong, we get together as a group and we talk about it, and really we never really see it as a negative thing. We see it as an opportunity for learning. So we quickly assess what the problem is, and we pivot to find solution. And that's when I really always, I'm very impressed that I'm working with very professional designers here, by the way they can pivot quickly and find new solution. They're not really fazed by the mistakes, but really seeing it as an opportunity. So I think that's really great. So I think it's time for us to move on to some live questions. So let's see. Okay, I think this is for you guys, really. Question from Eric. As industrial designers, do you spend most of your time in sketching programs, or do you also use CAD? If so, what CAD suite do you guys use?
I can answer that.
Yeah,
I mean, we sketch a lot. I personally sketch a lot. I also do CAD. I personally use SolidWorks, but it's really up to the team. The designers really use the program they want and fit them the best. And we have a team of specialized CAD engineers who take our surfacing and basically make them production ready. So it's really, we use CAD for concept. Mainly.
Yeah, on my side, I also sketch, but then I go really fast into CAD because I really want to quickly create these models, like either like a quick 3D print or maybe even hands-on with foam, but really trying to get the proportions really fast. The CAD is just great for that. I use Rhino to really fast basically sketch in CAD, and then our team also uses, some people use Alias and other programs, and then we also use CAD sculptors that help us really to dial in the surfacing.
I'm totally blanking on the program that we use, CMF designers use. Do you guys remember? Anyways, yeah, we also use a program which I think we'll probably put it on the resource hopefully. That we take the CAD from you guys, and I know we use that Keyshot. There you go, Keyshot to render different colors and different finishes to do quick sketches to explore different options.
But one thing is we make a lot of prototyping, so all the sketching and CAD tools are basically ways for us to share ideas, but really we review the physical products and the physical prototypes with the actual materials. That's how we look at design concepts.
Yeah, a lot of iterations on models, really fast iterations. It's a model is just worth 1,000 pictures or renders.
Yeah.
Great, we'll move on to the next question. From TechSwan, how large are design teams and how many projects do you work on at once? I think you mentioned that we have now about 50 plus designers.
Almost 50 designers.
Yeah.
We all work on multiple projects. It can range from one if it's a very busy project to I think 3-4 projects.
3-4.
Yeah.
Because my team is centralized, so we work on all the projects. So I'm trying to do a quick math in my head on all the products that our team is currently working on, and I would have to say maybe it's over 12 to 14 products at the moment, if not more.
Yeah.
Great. It's a lot of work. Let's see. From Maturi, hopefully I pronounced that right. What do you look for in an industrial designer while hiring for the industrial design team? I know you guys probably have been involved in some hiring process here, right?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, first we look at portfolios a lot, and that's the first step really. The portfolio really needs to be polished, amazing, and appealing and inspiring to the team, to everyone. And then if we think there is a good fit based on the portfolio and the experience, then we will engage the conversation with the candidates.
Yeah. And I think it doesn't need to be like specifically one type of person. I think we look in different directions. Like people that have a lot of experience with manufacturing are valuable, as well as people that are super like out there creatively. So you need
We're always trying to find balance, right?
Exactly. So we're definitely looking at everything and trying to get really the most creative people.
Yeah. And I think
we have very specific needs also. So if you don't hear from us, don't take it personally. It's really sometimes we have very focused needs on a specific candidate we are looking for. So it's really a question of timing and needs from us. Yeah.
And I know, on the cultural side too, that's very important for us too, right? Just not looking at just on the, perform for skill sets, but because we really take that seriously, right? Creating the right culture for the team. So making sure that they would fit well with the team, I think is really important. I know it's sort of hard to question, but I think those are some of the things that we find very important. Moving on to next question. Okay, it's a question from Liz. How do your team conduct consumer and trend research in a global market? I know this one's a...
Do you want to take this?
Yeah, so I guess I could start.
Yeah, you should take that.
Yeah, we do. We definitely, it's on a multiple level, right? We have UXR team that we work with who goes out and does UXR research for us in different markets. So they're very cognizant of the different markets the products will be. So, Asia versus Europe versus, the North America. So we have that team to rely on. We also subscribe to different trend research groups that help us. There's so many things out there, so they really help us in terms of organizing some big macro trend picture. So we utilize those two as a sort of more of an overarching, but when it comes to specific programs, we tailor research based on different programs, like some of the questions that we may have. So that's how we've been approaching it.
Yep.
Yeah, we're using also different research groups. So like we have human factors research for, let's say, when we developed the gaming controller, there was a lot of research done. How does the product fit in the hand, and how long can you play, and these type of things. So I think that's really important. Yep. But then there's also sometimes research for color or just in general research around the product.
And the industrial design team actually works pretty closely with the research team. We provide the prototypes for the research, for the ergonomic research or any type of research, and we also support the questions that are going to be asked during the user interviews. And then when we get all the data from those user research, we basically inform the design, and we come back into a creative process to evolve the design in a better way.
Yeah, it's a lot of times you use it as a validation, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So I think we have time for one more question, and that question comes from Chris. How do the hardware teams work with UX and dev? And I'm not really sure what dev means, but who owns the overall project, and how do they keep hardware and software in sync?
I can take that because I mean on the mobile products we work pretty closely with the UX team, who is involved in. There is a UX team bridging basically the Pixel phone hardware with the Android team. So we work pretty closely to make sure the software integration works well within the design intention. And I think when you say dev is software development, so the UX team is more responsible for collaborating closely with the developers, but we work with the UX team.
And I think that's the exciting part to be at Google, because we're at the intersection of hardware, in our case, software and AI. So everything is in-house, and we can come up with these amazing solutions that other companies just can't do all in-house.
Yeah. And I think it goes back to sort of the whole collaboration effort, right? There, you know, I feel like I've never felt like somebody really like owns something like this is mine. It's really about, you know, teamwork, that collaboration and teamwork and this conversation, right?
Yep.
Okay. So I think that wraps up for us, right? So yeah, thank you for submitting your questions, and please be sure to check the description box for additional resources. And subscribe to Life at Google on YouTube for more videos about working at Google. So thank you for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye.